Hi friends, so I'm here in the backyard and this is the garden bed that, if you recall from my previous videos, it kind of got destroyed when this retaining wall went up. So this year I'm kind of rehabbing it and just adding stuff back. I bought this flat of annual. This is alyssum and it smells really good when it's blooming. It came back for me last year. It was a different variety maybe though. So we'll have to see if this comes back. This area does get a fair bit of sun. I would say part sun. And I believe alyssum likes like part sun, so I think it'll do well there. And this garden bed so far this year, I've added the hellebores in the back. And I split some of my hostas and added them in the back because at some point there will be a fence going up and that area is going to be in quite a bit more shade. The other thing I transplanted was a pulmonaria lungwort, and it's not doing that great. So unfortunately it doesn't look like it's doing that well, so maybe I'll give it another water and see if it can perk up. Otherwise I might have to relocate that. I did have one in here before all the destruction and it did really well, so I was surprised that this one didn't take. But look at my beautiful ajuga. This is ajuga ground cover. It is something that you have to be careful because it can smother other plants, but right now it's in full bloom and it's glorious. So that is something, I just love those blooms. And I have transplanted this weigela here. So this weigela was in a different area of my garden. It wasn't really doing well, it never bloomed. So I thought I would try it here. And this I believe is a midnight wine shine. So that's there. I do have a dwarf Alberta spruce that's been here for a few years, and next to it this hosta actually did survive the destruction, so I was surprised. So hostas are very, very tough plants, so I was really happy to see that one come back. I think this one is called Queen of the Seas. It's like a more of a bluish hosta and it's ridged, and you can see that there are some holes in it, but that's because I didn't treat for any kind of slugs or earwigs or anything like that yet. And my astilbe, that is coming back, so that's another tough plant. Here I have my chives, which I think self-seeded here because I had chives up in a pot on the balcony and the seeds must have come here because these chives look like they're doing really well. You can see it's almost in full bloom and there's buds, so I don't use it much in cooking, but it's nice to have that option there. And then of course I've got more ajuga. I would just love it if, you know, ajuga was my mulch in this bed. And then I bought a flat of, these are impatiens. And these impatiens I'm gonna kind of put in the back area of this bed where it's more shaded. And hopefully they will do well because, you know, I don't really know much about what's gonna take in this bed. Like most of the time the soil in here has been very dead. There have not been much life, not much worm activity that I've found when I've been kind of working in it. So I'm not too optimistic. So, you know, this might be just a annual year just to recover the bed, add some compost, kind of add organic matter and try to do a recovery year on it. But anyways, I'm hoping to get these impatiens in today. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today. And they are a beautiful purple color, but I don't want to keep them in this small flats because they need a lot of water and I don't want them to die before I get them in the ground. So I want to get them planted as soon as possible. All right, so I've got that whole flat of impatiens in and I've kind of put them sporadically throughout the bed. The soil is pretty compacted, so I wasn't able to kind of plant along the back behind the hellebores, and the soil there is pretty bad, actually really bad. It was like kind of gray and so rocky. But I managed just to get that one there. But otherwise I've kind of got them dotted throughout. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave them. I'm not sure how big they will get, so I'm not sure about spacing. But I feel like they're gonna fill out, and I'm planting them pretty early in May, so I feel like they have a lot of time to kind of fill this space in. And if they don't, I think these other kind of perennials like the hostas and everything are kind of grow up and maybe overshadow them a bit anyways. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this bed does. I will probably top dress with compost at some point to just help aid in the recovery of this bed. But I watered them before I planted them, and now I'm just going to give them another water, and it is overcast, so hopefully they will do okay. So this bed has been watered in and we have all of our impatiens in, and once I get a chance I have to come back and add some top dressing of compost, maybe give it a good mulch, pull some more weeds in this corner here, and then wait to see what happens. So I'm going to take a picture of this, and this will be my before picture, and then later on in the summer I'm going to compare it to the after picture. Hi everybody, I'm just finishing up in the garden today, but before I go I wanted to show you some early blooming clematis or clematis that are just looking gorgeous. So let me show you. So here I have a 3-sided trellis, and on it I have Dr. Ruppel, which is this early blooming clematis. It looks gorgeous. This is a little bit older flower, but you can see how big the blooms are. And it's a little bit deeper when it's fresh and then fades out or bleaches out a little bit. Isn't that gorgeous? But I have 3 different clematis on this one, and one is the early blooming one, and then I know the other one is Sweet Summer Love, which is quite vigorous, and it's got the smaller leaves on it. And then there's one more, I can't recall which one it is right now, but when it's blooming I'll know. But just definitely wanted to share that beauty with you. And then the other one I will show you. It is Guernsey Cream, so let's walk over there. It is, slowly take you over there, in the circle garden bed just behind the Gertrude rose. So I planted the Guernsey Cream so there would be some early blooms in this area, and when they're kind of done, the Gertrude rose will come into bloom. And it is loaded up with buds right now, and I didn't really prune it this year, so probably will be a great show. But turning around here we have Guernsey Cream. Isn't that beautiful? So floriferous. So I think this is the 2nd or 3rd year I've had this, and I've been to Guernsey, so I really wanted this one. I just love the color, and again, huge blooms here, size of my hand, and looking beautiful. Lots of buds on there, and I hope that lasts for a long time. I'm always so careful when I'm weeding under here because I'm just so scared that I'm gonna damage my clematis there. But beautiful Guernsey Cream. And even though this is not supposed to be a tour, I couldn't help but show you this beautiful, I believe it's an azalea. So I learned that all azaleas are rhododendrons, but not all rhododendrons are azaleas. And I think this is an azalea because of the size of the leaf. I did get this for free from somebody who was gonna toss it, so it's a rescue plant. But it was blooming so beautifully the previous years, and then this year I was a little bit worried about it. I was worried it was damaged, diseased, was not gonna bloom, but as you can see, it made it through. So looking beautiful and vibrant here in my shrub border.